A 95 speed, 6'1", elite zone corner.
Yeah, my guy's a zone guy, which is nice because a lot of the good corners I've actually been able to recruit are man guys.
Yeah, well, I
Uh,
like putting them. I like putting my corners at safety if they have good zone.
all right, unpin this. All right, here we are. Bowl week one or playoff week one matchups for our predictions video. We got Gabe joining for this one and Dell doing his first predictions video with Notre Dame making the playoffs. Dell, say something so they know what your voice sounds like.
Hell yeah.
Fantastic. All right. We got a Heisman winner to go over, and then we're going to look at these award winners. We're going to look at some bowl matchups, although I don't think there's any user versus users. And then we're going to do the players of the week, and then finally we'll do our predictions for not only this round of the playoffs, but every round of the playoffs. If you'll notice too, don't forget this week is the week that you do your coaching stuff, like managing your staff, as well as early National Signing Day. You can see if people dev traits and things like that. So make sure you take a peek at those that interest you. All right, we'll go ahead and start off with our Heisman winner. It is going to be wide receiver Lawrence Yearby out of Kentucky. That's JJ's guy. Wide receiver YC Rogers had an incredible week, brought him up to second. Corbin Hendricks out of Kansas at third. Harlem Berry, the running back at LSU at fourth. And defensive end Jordan Ross reappears at fifth for South Carolina. We take a look at our award winners. I'll run through the winner for each one of these. Player of the year was also Yearby. Head coach of the year was Savon with his Gamecocks that didn't lose a regular season game. Best quarterback was Bryce Underwood out of Kansas. Best defensive player, Jordan Ross out of South Carolina. Best defensive back, Vakari Swain out of South Carolina. Best running back, Harlem Berry out of LSU. Best receiver, Corbin Hendricks actually beat out Yearby, so he won the Heisman but didn't win best receiver. Out of Kansas. The Lombardi Award, of course, goes to Jordan Ross. Nobody won the Golden Glove. Best defensive end, Jordan Ross as well. Best
Man,
interior lineman. You said what?
I didn't win that fucking best senior QB award. That's crazy.
Yeah. Best interior lineman, Josh DeVito, the left guard out of Georgia Tech. Best tight end, Tavon Eddy, the tight end out of Kentucky. The Broyles Award went to both Savon's guys. Best linebacker, outside linebacker out of Kentucky. Best center, Alabama center wins it every single season, no matter what. It's happened like four times. It's not every year, but it's happened like 3 or 4 times. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And then I'm guessing this is why Yearby didn't win best receiver, but he won the Heisman is because he won best return man. I know he had 2 kick returns just against me, so I imagine he had a pretty good season. Take a brief look at the All-Americans here as well. So Harlem Berry, Marshall's quarterback is your All-American first team quarterback. Taylor Tatum out of Oklahoma, Yearby, Hendricks, and YC Rogers are your receivers. Your offensive line out of Cal, you got a left tackle, JJ's guard, as well as Oklahoma's guard. So that makes no sense. Like, best interior lineman goes to Peso's guy, but he's not an All-American. And the same thing with the center award. These don't make any fucking sense. But if you blow through these, you'll see the rest of them. Here's your second team. If you want to pause, you can look at those as well.
Second teamer.
Yeah, I see that. And then your boy DeBose was on the All-American freshman team. Here is your freshman team right there. All right, let's go ahead and I think we did all of those. Let's do the players of the week. So we will start off with the National Defensive Player of the Week.
Which is Malachi Williams, 5 tackles, 2 sacks for Penn State.
Gabe?
I was looking at the All Americans. That's funny. It's just grayed out.
You got to go to the championship week. You're on it. It's weird.
Oh,
Go back one.
I see. Yeah.
Go back one.
Offensive player of the week, bitch ass, YC Rogers.
Man, he fucking cooked whoever that shitty Florida user is.
Yeah, fucking not pretty easy to do when all you run is jet sweeps. That's besides the point though. 20 receptions, 284 yards, on 3 receiving touchdowns, against the conference championship game.
Gabe said Savon was spamming trying to win that Heisman. That's all it was.
Hey,
Crazy.
it's on.
Moving on to the ACC.
right, for defensive player, you got Jordan Ross with 4 tackles and 1 sack
And
for
we
South
already
Carolina.
did the offensive one.
To
So
the Big 12, looks like we got a Kansas sweep here.
Holy shit. Marco Cushenberry, 6 tackles, 1 pick, and 1 TD at free safety for Kansas.
and Kansas's running back, Davian Gross, had 7 carries, 42 rushing yards, and 1 rushing touchdown, along with 3 receptions, 48 yards, and that was it. A pretty mild day, but
Yeah, it was a low-scoring game to their defense. So,
yeah, that's true.
Big Ten, we already went over Williams, but the offensive player is
Jamal Roberts for Missouri, which is Mike. Against his loss to Penn State, he had 88 yards on 13 carries with 1 rushing touchdown, and also caught 4 passes for 23 yards in that low-scoring game.
wow. That's probably the most Mike has ever run in a football game. I don't think I've ever seen him with 13 carries.
Yeah, he doesn't run at all.
and then finally an LSU sweep in the SEC.
Yeah. Damian Shanklin, right outside linebacker with 9 tackles.
Nobody had a sack. Nobody had a pick. Nothing. Like just tackles. Okay.
TFLs.
Derek Meadows, he had 2 receptions for 121 yards and 1 receiving TD. I think he was the one that made the crazy catch towards the end that got Chapo set up to win the game.
I didn't
I
actually
think that
get to
was him.
watch that game, so I saw it was close, but I didn't get a chance to look at it.
But yeah, I guess that was two catches for 121 yards. That was it to get offensive player of the week in it was a pretty high scoring game for their standards.
All right, finally, what you're all here for, we got our college football playoff bracket. So I'm going to go through all the seeds, and we'll do our picks for this round, and then we'll continue with our picks for each round till we crown a national champion each. So number 1 was South Carolina, number 2 was LSU, number 3 was Kansas, and number 4 was Penn State. We got number 5, which is the sweet spot, Peso, sitting there with a CPU in the first round. 6, the 6-11 matchup is going to be JJ's Kentucky Wildcats up against Gabe's Florida Gators. The 7-10 matchup is Twan's Alabama Crimson Tide against Rob's Miami Hurricanes, and the 8-9 matchup is Dell's Notre Dame Fighting Irish versus my Mississippi State Bulldogs. So I will just disregard the Peso game. I assume we're all picking Peso to be the CPU team. So we'll start off with me and Dell's game. State finished 8-4, and Notre Dame finished 6-6. But Notre Dame is hosting the playoff game, so it should be interesting.
It's crazy setup here.
Hey man,
I'm not gonna lie, because I haven't not watched Dell play at all. I don't know how this game is gonna go. This is the hardest one to predict. I don't know how to play Dell's matchup. Maybe Dell heard he's got some juice. But because I don't want Jason to get a playoff win before I do, I'm gonna pick Dell at home to win this game in a close one. I'd say more on the low scoring side. I'd say it's 21-18. Dell squeaks one out to go face Devon in the next round.
All right. I'd say good pick, but you're wrong, Dell, tell us who you think wins, and then tell me your 3 keys to victory.
I think I'll win. My 3 keys to victory, just gotta throw the ball, try to get over top maybe, manipulate, a couple DBs here and there. Give you that. It's gonna be a good passing game. Say that.
Dell, I've seen you play before. I know you don't throw the ball deep. You don't have to lie up here. I'm gonna pick myself to win, of course. I think that, as respectful as I can be, you don't deserve to be here, and we need to send you packing out of the first round.
Like that.
The 3 keys to victory are, as always, don't turn the ball over, force turnovers, And then we have to play balance on offense. I can't rely too much on the run or rely too much on the pass. We need to keep you on your toes, and that's what will keep us in the game.
Hell yeah.
And I'm gonna take State to win it 21-17 at Notre Dame. So our next matchup, we have the 7-10. We got Twan's Alabama Crimson Tide going up against Rob's Miami Hurricanes.
Yeah, Rob don't deserve to be here anyway.
Yeah.
Twan gonna drill him. Twan gonna drill him. I think it's gonna be.
Pause.
Yeah, I was about to say it. He beat me to it.
Get your minds out together, bro. Okay. Twan's gonna flood him.
That's not any better. God,
Pause.
Okay, y'all get the
Gabe's
point.
lawyer is telling him to say that Alabama's going to win the game.
I think Miami will score some points, like I think 17 or something, but I think Twan will outscore him and control the game, control the clock. I got Twan winning. I'll give it a little closer. I'll say it was 35-17. Twan wins to face LSU in the next round.
I don't know who the hell Twan is, but I'm gonna go with Alabama. I'm guessing. I haven't really watched them. I'm just going off based off record. Yeah.
You're making the correct pick.
Okay.
I think this is probably going to be our most lopsided playoff matchup. This is a bad matchup for Rob scheme-wise, and then on top of that, he's got to go play in Tuscaloosa for this game. Twan's offensive and defensive line are crazy, and Rob is tend to be turnover prone whenever he doesn't have time. So I think this one's going to be a blowout. I don't think it'll be a shutout, but I'm going to take Alabama to win at 31-7.
Damn.
Yeah, I think I don't want to lie to you. I might be being a little generous about it too, but
I'll say the same thing, like maybe 28-0. Some shit.
Okay, shutout. All right. Next, we have Gabe's 11th ranked Florida Gators, 10-3, playing in Lexington against the 6th ranked Kentucky Wildcats at 9-3. That's JJ. Gabe, don't quote me. You played JJ this year, right? What was the final score of that game?
That's not important.
No, it's not. Okay, I think that JJ's points he scored started with a 7. I can't remember though.
Yeah, it was like 7-3 or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's what it was, 7-3. Defensive battle between you two
70?
offensive gurus.
Yeah.
Well, so it's Gabe's game, Dell. So you'll go first on this one, then I'll go. Then Gabe will go.
Say maybe the Gators. Honestly, I'm the wrong guy to be picking because I haven't watched any.
That's okay. That's all right.
I say the Gators. Honestly, maybe a nice little upset.
You got to pick one somewhere, right? I'm not going to pick an upset. I think Gabe is frustrated with his ranking, understandably so. This is not a game you want to go into frustrated. JJ is tough to beat in general, although this year he has shown he can be a little more turnover prone and a little less balanced offensively. But I think being a playoff game, he'll try to shore those issues up. I'm going to take Kentucky to win. I think it will be comfortable, but I think in the first half the game will be close. But I'm going to go Kentucky wins it 38-21 over Florida.
Even though I might not wholeheartedly believe it myself, I can't pick against myself. No, the reason I lost to JJ last time earlier this season is because his D line went absolutely berserk, and I didn't have an answer for it. So
Didn't you have like this great offensive line you brought in though? Man.
I can only do so much. I can't make them play good.
Oh, okay. Sounds like poor coaching. I don't know. You know.
If I make the right adjustments, I think I can stay in the game for a while. And if I play a lot more defined than refined than I was against Saban, I should be able to squeak out a close one. If I do win, I feel like it's going to be high scoring. So I would pick myself 35-32 on a game-winning field goal, or even like a 2-point conversion or something like that. But that's how I feel like I would win this game to go face Ryan next round.
Good stuff. All right, so everybody has Georgia Tech versus Penn State in the next rounds. This will be 10-3 Georgia Tech at the time, which is Peso, playing Penn State at a neutral site in the Rose Bowl against Des and his 11-2 Nittany Lions.
Damn. So this one crazy to me because like,
They
not
play
that
the
Des
same.
is
Like this is going to be a good
not
game.
because like they both are not good at passing. I won't say they
Mhm.
can't pass, but they're not like if the game comes down to it, they're not like they're
Known as
probably like an
passers, yeah.
average. They're a pretty average user when it comes to the passing game, which is why they have the play styles they have. Um, so this is gonna be very interesting to see basically who could stop the run and make the other person pass is going to be the person that wins this game. Whoever, because someone's got to win control. It's actually going to be a very because I don't think the two have ever played before in this game, right?
I think
But
I'm going to look at it right now. I think they played this season.
did they?
Don't
For
quote me
real?
on it. I'm on the
You're
way to
talking
look
about
at it
Boston
right now.
College and Georgia Tech, correct?
No, we're talking about Georgia Tech versus Penn State.
Oh,
Um, 1 second here. Was it? I think it was week one, right?
oh
Yeah, week
shit.
one. Georgia Tech beat Penn State 27-24.
That's exactly how I feel like this game would go too. That's crazy. Um, in the Rose Bowl, who was home in that game?
Des lost at home.
Uh,
Yeah, it's tough.
that's
Both
what's
of them
tough.
are top five runners, and then
Give
uh,
me, give me Des in this one. I think he's been playing some
Whose
tough
defense is
comp late
better?
in the season, and I feel like he's Penn State. I feel like Penn State is he's been he's been playing tougher competition, so he's going to be more warmed up and ready for it, and making adjustments from the last time we played Peso. I feel like it's going to be a very similar score to when they played the first time, probably like 28, 24, 31, 27, something like that, somewhere around that range. But I got Des barely squeaking one out, and a really good game in the Rose Bowl. I'll go with the 28-24 score.
to answer your question, Dell, they're both really good defensive users. Like neither one of them is significantly better on defense than the
Yeah,
other one. They
I think
they
Pace
probably are.
doesn't Peso lead the nation in yards,
Yeah,
or
he does have he
I think
had
Pace
not
is
only the
second.
nation, he had the best defensive yards record anybody's had in NCAA this year. So I mean the defenses are very similar. The play styles in general are extremely similar.
Hmm. And who won the first?
Georgia Tech won. Peso won the first matchup.
So Penn State's gonna win his revenge. I got Penn State beating
All
him by
right.
3.
I won't let it be a sweet Peso. I think you're playing good football right now, and I don't think Des is playing all that well. That game versus Mike, he only went 17-13, and Mike doesn't have a good defense. Um, it's going to be tougher for both teams to move the ball, but I expect Peso to win at the end. I also think he's a little bit better passer than Des, just ever so slightly. So I'm going to take Georgia Tech to win this game 17-16 over Penn State. Next, we have both of you picked Notre Dame to face off against South Carolina, and I picked myself. So, Gabe, we'll start off with you with Dell's Fighting
Yeah,
Irish versus
so
South Carolina in the Peach Bowl.
after Dell spanks Mississippi State,
Hmm.
um, I this next game I don't think Dell has the team nor the scheme to prepare for this one.
Who am I playing?
Uh, you'd be
South
playing South
Carolina.
Carolina,
Oh,
who's
skip.
already locked into the second round. Um, I feel like it beat Savant's offenses would be very dynamic. It's something Dell hasn't played yet so far since being here. So I feel like Dell would probably get away from them early. Dell would probably come back in the second house of adjustment to make a little run. But at the end it wouldn't be enough. I got South Carolina winning that game. I'd say 56-28.
Damn. Damn.
What you think, Dell?
Um, I'm gonna be as humble as possible. I do believe in myself. Now, mind you, I haven't really been playing too much college football, so like the kinks and shit. So I think South Carolina is going to be a tough game if I were to get there. Um, if for me to beat him, knowing myself and my play style, limit the turnovers, try to control the clock, and yeah, just take what he gives me. But I think it'll be a tough game. I'll come out on top though and shock the world.
Um, that would be a shock. Um, I've never beaten Savon, not once. We've had a lot of games where it was close. We've played once this year in NCAA. I lost 31-15 on the road. This
Hmm.
is going to be an extremely tough matchup. It's neutral site. I won't be arrogant enough to pick myself in this game. It's not for a lack of confidence, it's just because I mean he's 13-0, number one for a reason. And the last couple weeks I haven't played anyone extremely tough. My last three games were Freeway, T-Lou, and CPU. So I'll pick South Carolina to win it. I'm going to say it's 31-17.
Hmm.
Next we have so both of you picked Florida. And I picked Kentucky. So, Gabe, your Gators versus Ryan's Kansas Jayhawks.
Um, so I'm not gonna lie. If I was gonna be humble by now, I would have to have done it against JJ in the first round.
So there's no point in.
So I'm gonna pick my. I would pick myself for this too. I know I have the roster advantage against Ryan's team. So for players pound for pound, I wouldn't have to be worried about that. It's really scheme and execution. I know Ryan has a lot of the similar playstyle and quirks that Savon did, who I just played twice. So I'd already be adjusted to that. And JJ would, if beating him, he would play a lot of the same ways too. So I'd be running this similar defensive scheme that I'd already be probably mastering at this point. Um, so this one also, with me, I would beat him. It'd be another high scoring game. But I would, with flawless execution, it would take to beat Ryan. I would take myself beat winning 31-28 to move on to the semifinals.
Hmm. I would say, and this is Kansas and
Florida, because you picked me.
okay, yeah. I'll probably say your road ends there. I got Kansas maybe winning 35-20.
um, I think that so I've got JJ versus Ryan. I think it'll be a really interesting matchup. I think JJ's got the better team and the better scheme. I don't like Ryan's defensive scheme at all. Offensively, though, he's going to put a lot. He can put up a lot of points. I think it'll be a high-scoring game that JJ wins close. So I'm going to go Kentucky 35-31 over Kansas. We'll have a rematch of the SEC championship game. Alabama, which is Twan squad, playing against the LSU Tigers in the Fiesta. Yes, the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah, that was a good game that they played last night. It took some heroics in overtime by LSU to win that. I think that was. Now I'm trying to. Oh yeah, that was Twan failing the 2-point conversion to lose that game. With running stretch against goal line, which was a weird call, but he didn't seem to think so. But that's besides the point. Um, in this game, neutral site, just like the SEC championship was. I feel like I got Chapo played pretty bad that game. He was a little erratic at times. I feel like in the playoffs, which he normally does, he would lock in for this one. Play more refined. I still have it a close game, but I'll have Chapo winning this one outright in the end without an overtime. I'd say 28-21 LSU.
And LSU won the SEC game.
Yes.
Yeah, against Alabama.
Okay, so and Alabama was kind of a little bit rusty. Is that what you were saying, or who wasn't refined?
I was
LSU
saying, I was
chop.
saying, I was saying, I was saying, Chapo wasn't playing as well as he normally was. He was playing a
And
little erratic because he couldn't
Chapo
run the
is
ball. He's LSU. Sorry, I keep
okay.
forgetting that you don't know the names of half the
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
I just
Okay.
naturally say it like that.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. I think LSU pulls it off. I definitely can reminisce on locking in for the playoffs. So now that it's playoff time, he'll probably lock in. Probably not let it get to overtime and come out with a win. Say 35-27.
I like it.
Um, I'm gonna take. I think it's gonna be a close game, man. I think
You're
Twan's
about to pick
playing.
Twan, aren't you?
I think Twan's playing really well right now. I think he cannot get this monkey off his back. I don't think he's beat Chapo yet. I don't think it happens here either. I think it was going to happen. It had to happen last week. It's emotional letdown to lose like that. So give me Chapo to win this game, 28-20 over Alabama. All right, next. So good lord, I'm trying to remember who had who. You
I
had Des
have,
versus South Carolina.
I have, yeah, I have Des versus South. I thought we all did.
No,
Or no, you didn't.
I picked
I
Peso,
think, yeah,
and Dell did not pick South Carolina. He picked himself.
Of course.
So
yeah, that's how that worked. Yeah, so it'd be Dell versus Penn State versus South Carolina for me, and then Savon also, and Peso versus Savon for you.
yes. All right. So your
Yeah.
pick.
So my matchup in the semifinal would be Penn State Des versus Savon, South Carolina. In that game, I easily have South Carolina winning. Savon can do everything that Des can do and more. His defense is uh okay. Des is, I give Des like I think on the same defensive plane. They're both actually pretty good at defense, but offense, Savon can do everything that Penn State can do and more. So I'm gonna have Savon winning this one. I'd say Des keeps it close until the fourth quarter where Savon pulls it away. I got South Carolina winning this one. I say no, I won't be that high scoring. I'll go 35-24, South Carolina.
You
Dell,
go.
you've got yourself versus Penn State.
Um, I don't really know how Penn State plays, but I feel like if I can beat number one, I can. I'm gonna have my confidence is gonna be through the roof. So yeah, I think I'll stick maybe being conservative this time around. Come on top, run the ball, just control the clock, and come out with a dub. I say this will be a low scoring game, so maybe 21-14.
Um, I've got Peso versus South Carolina. These two pretty good defensive units. They play a lot. I think that Savon's going to come out on top just because I think he's better offensively. I don't think this is some crazy shootout though. I'll go South Carolina 27 to let's go 27 to 10 over Georgia Tech. In the next round, I have Kentucky LSU. Gabe has Florida and LSU, and
I
you
think I
have
have them though too.
and Dell has Kansas versus LSU.
Yeah,
So
I think I'm gonna
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um. So I guess I'm going first still, right?
yes,
Um. So I'd have myself versus LSU. As much as I'd say I'd beat Chapo's ass, this is where I will eat my humble pie. Me and Chapo played twice. The first game was actually pretty close. The second game, the D line got it early, but that was like last season, the season before. We haven't played in a minute. Um, Chapo's roster is really good. It's probably better than mine as far as the offensive and defensive lines are concerned. And Chapo has a really good running scheme that not many people could stop, so he's able to control the game a lot better than most. I say that would get the best of me. Like myself in a close game, as long as I keep myself without turning stupid deep passes or anything like that, which is usually what I do against Chapo. I think I keep the game close, but Chapo ends up winning 38-35 to move on to the national championship again.
Dell, you've got Kansas versus LSU.
Mhm. And you said LSU won a championship?
He's
Uh,
won two champion. He won the first two
he won
championships.
year one and year two, and then he has not the last two seasons.
Hmm.
Basically, because basically, though, what happened
You,
is that we started, and then he won that one, right, season one,
Okay.
and then we had to restart the league because of the glitches, and so he
Yeah.
also won year one again with that team. So
you pick
a lot of people give Chapo shit because he said he could only win with a year one team. He didn't though,
you
but
you
he
Year
picked
one
did
team
win
is
those
against
two
crazy.
national championships.
you picked against
So
the two-time defending champ in the first round when you picked Florida. Kentucky was your two-time champ, so you had him
Okay.
yeah,
going down quick.
Kentucky won the last two.
Okay. I say this time around, Kansas might take the cake, the icing on the cake, and walk LSU down. It's going to be a shootout, mm, maybe going to overtime, and Kansas wins by 2.
That would be exciting.
Yeah.
I've got Kentucky versus LSU. These two have played so much, like it's crazy.
Yeah, probably
Um,
more than anybody else.
yeah, it has to be at this point. I
Yeah,
think
because they
that
played in what 2 or 3 SEC championships against
three.
each other.
They've played in three
Yeah,
against each other, and then they've played in the playoffs like 3 times too, or something like
and they
that.
play every season in the regular season too. So yeah, they
Yeah.
definitely played each other more than anyone else.
So I'm gonna. I just think that JJ has been a little erratic offensively this season. I think Chapo, as long as he doesn't get stupid and as long as he doesn't turn the ball over, he should win the game. Um, Especially coming off a win versus Twan, it would have been a really tough game. I don't think playing Ryan is as tough as playing Twan for JJ's side. So give me LSU and Chapo to win this game. They always have decently like low score ish games. So I'm gonna go 28-24 LSU over Kentucky. All right, so your national championship games. I've got South Carolina versus LSU. Dell has got himself versus
Oh yeah.
LS versus Kansas, and then Gabe has Chapo versus Savon. Is that what you have?
I also have South Carolina versus LSU.
Okay, so we have the same, and then he has South Carolina. I mean, he has Notre Dame versus Kansas.
Yeah, Joe, you go first for this one since
All right, so I think this. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm actually in a national championship game. I'll probably watch some film from that point on, kind of figure out what Kansas likes to do. Come out, and then I say I'll lose.
Hey,
Off a touchdown.
hold the fuck up.
I'm
Hold the
You
fuck
didn't get
up.
yourself this far.
I'm
You might as well
I'm
have
kidding.
yourself winning, bro.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
So-
I'm kidding. This game, I'm going to come on top and win a national championship. And everybody, I'm going to shit on everybody because it's like, oh, you didn't deserve to make the playoffs, even though I really didn't. But
I mean, you did it.
I don't control the fucking bracket. I'm just here. I'm just here so I don't get fired.
Yeah.
But
He said he's going
come
to
out
beat
on
Kansas
top.
49-0. That's what he said in the national
I
championship
did
game.
not say that. I think it'll be a tough matchup though. But I'll definitely have a lot more film, so I'll
Okay.
from there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little delusional, but, whatever.
Look, just a little bit,
Just a
a
little.
little bit.
All
I mean,
right.
you gotta believe yourself. If nobody else
Yeah,
is, you gotta believe
absolutely.
yourself.
Six and
And
six with national
absolutely.
champion.
Yeah, he's won like 6 games in a row or something like that. So that'd be like, what, 10 in a row to finish the season?
Hey, I mean, shit happens, man.
So that would be a statement.
I'm
All right,
confident.
Gabe.
Now, I will say before I give it over, I'm not that confident in my roster. So, but we'll leave it there at that.
I can hear the excuses brewing. God.
He got
He's got him locked and loaded in the chamber.
So me and Jason both got South Carolina versus LSU in the chip. This would be an interesting one for me. Um, man,
Chapo is 3-1 versus Savon this year, if that helps.
yeah, I know. Um, if Savon had a Nick Harbor still, I would take Savon to win this game, but he doesn't have that. And I feel like Chapo team is a lot more potent to stop his weapon like YC Rogers than like my team would be. Obviously, since I've had issues, Chapo knows where his main threat is, It's either Sellers or YC Rogers, and not really else.
Don't forget
Uh,
99 speed
be-
Chris Johnson at running back.
Oh
yeah,
God.
but Garoppolo's always been good against the run too. Um, because Savon doesn't have that X factor anymore, which he wouldn't have needed to beat any of the other people on his run to this spot. Because he doesn't have that X factor like Nick Harbor, I got Chopper winning his third national championship in a close game, high scoring game. I'd say 42 to 38 is the final score in the national championship.
Our natties are always lower scoring games than the rest of the playoffs and seasons. I think generally, I don't know how Chapo's going to go throughout this whole playoffs without Holstein. It'll be Wall at quarterback. He's slightly worse, but not much. He's very similar. I think I'm going to take Savon to win it here. He's just been really, really good all year long. I hope I'm wrong because I want the SEC to keep the streak going. Um, but I think I'm going to take Savon to win on a game-winning field goal. He lost last year on a game-winning field goal. He'll win this year on a game-winning field goal. I'm going to go 20-17, South Carolina over LSU. And like I said, I hope I'm wrong. The SEC needs to keep those natties. We got the first to keep it going that way. But that's going to do it for our picks. I don't know when these other games are fixing to be played. Make sure they get them scheduled. Me and Dell are about to play here in just a second.
Oh yeah.
Um, and
Oh, yeah, I'm about to just ask that because I'm really curious. It's probably the most game I'm curious about this
it's
week.
probably the one that in the first round that is likely to be the closest, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely is.
I know that you think Florida's going to beat Kentucky 42-7, so you know.
I don't. I wanted to take that. I wanted to take that to heart. I just need to hype myself up. But that's already on
He said I was just fooling. That's going to do it for the PR video. Definitely appreciate everybody who's going to watch now or going to watch in the future. Dell for joining for his first video. Hopefully you'll join for more in the as we progress through here.
Oh yeah.
Everybody, make sure you update yourselves on the rules before playoff games. If you break rules in a playoff game, you will be suspended in the next one. So don't do that.